Deepwater Horizon is directed by Peter Berg, who also directed The Rundown, Friday Night Lights, Battleship, and Lone Survivor, and stars Mark Wahlberg, Kurt Russell, and Kate Hudson. This film is based on the true events that occurred on Deepwater Horizon, which was an oil rig outside just off the coast of Louisiana, which in 2010 had a massive blowout and explosion and caused a massive fireball which could be seen like 40 miles away or something like that. That occurred in 2010. There was a massive oil spill as a result of it. This is basically what happened that caused all of that to occur. So it's really kind of interesting to see what caused this major incident. To be honest, I really didn't expect a whole lot from this film. I don't really tend to expect a whole lot from Mark Wahlberg films, but with him working with Peter Berg, he already worked together on Lone Survivor. Now they're working together on Deepwater Horizon. They already have a third project in the works, so they're really good together. They have a great chemistry, and I've always liked Peter Berg. I have a confession to make. I actually may be one of the only people that actually like Battleship. I don't know why. I think it was a fun popcorn blockbuster movie, which was what it was meant to be, and I think it succeeded. And I had a lot of fun with that movie, so I like it. But I love Peter Berg. He does a lot of great films, like The Rundown is probably one of my favorite ones. Friday Night Lights sparked a whole TV series. I mean, this guy does most of the time, gritty, realistic type of stuff, and he kind of infused it. I think actually Battleship kind of helped inspire and grow and really push forward this project for Peter Berg to make Deepwater Horizon, because he got a little bit more of the gritty realism stuff that he does with like Lone Survivor, but he also got a lot of that CG stuff that he did with Battleship and like the ocean, all that Navy stuff. So I mean, I feel like that film sort of helped set up Peter Berg to make this film and help him grow into this film, which was kind of nice, because even though as much as people call that one a flop for Battleship and they didn't like it, this one actually did a good job of bringing that gritty realism, but also sort of that fantasy sort of element where obviously there was CGI used because they couldn't really use the Deepwater Horizon since it sank. So, I mean, this film is really, really well done. It's well written, well directed. There isn't really a moment where I feel like the action sort of stops. Like, I feel like it has a good amount of setup. It doesn't overly set up certain characters or certain scenarios, but it really builds. This film progresses in a way that you expect this obviously massive sort of explosion to happen because it's real life. And the way that it's set up, it really allows that to build, and you feel for these characters. It puts you in these moments with characters you care about, which even though they don't go into a lot of backstory other than Mark Wahlberg's character, I feel like that they really give you a lot of depth, and you really root for these people on the Deepwater Horizon to get out and to survive. Now, 11 did die. They did pay a pretty good tribute to that, which I thought was extremely respectful. Peter Berg does this great thing with respect. He did it in Battleship with the Navy, with like the veterans, which I thought was awesome. And now he did it in the Deepwater Horizon at the very end, also super great. Now for the performances, Mark Wahlberg obviously had... My poster fell. As far as performances go, like I said, Mark Wahlberg is the one we get the most backstory to. And I feel like he had the best sort of arc out of all of the characters, which is understandable. He's the main hero, he's the main star. But you really feel for all the people that are on this oil rig. You want them to survive. Even the ones you spend like 5 minutes with or less. You really feel for these people because it's such a tragic event, and it sparked something that was a massive sort of world-affecting event with this massive oil spill. So being able to see the events before that and pay tribute to the people that died because of that, who were kind of overshadowed. That whole big Deepwater Horizon was sort of overshadowed by the oil spill. But because this one is centered on the actual event, I think it paid a nice tribute as well as giving a real look into what actually happened. Probably one of the biggest negatives I have to say about Deepwater Horizon was not actually because of the film itself, but because of the events. Because you spend so much time with these characters trapped in essentially an island, which is an oil rig surrounded by water, there's really no secure way out. There's no way they can easily get off of the rig that's exploding all around them. It can be quite overwhelming after a while. I mean, this film not exactly has the longest runtime, but I feel like it's kind of short, but at the same time, you get this feeling of being inside the Deepwater Horizon as it's exploding left, right, up, down, every direction. And it just kind of gets overwhelming after a while that you're like, okay, I hope this finishes quickly, because it really puts you into the action as a viewer. So it feels like, just, I don't know how to best explain it. It's just overwhelming that these explosions are happening left and right, and you feel at risk constantly. But unfortunately, that was the real life event that a lot of people, over like 120 people, had to go through on the actual Deepwater Horizon. So it's realistic in that sense, but also after a while, it kind of gets to be numbingly overdone, like explosions left and right, things going wrong. But again, that's not the fault of the film. That's kind of the fault of the event. And the only other negative other than that is BP's involvement in the whole thing. I mean, the beginning, John Malkovich, as always, plays a pretty good asshole, basically. I mean, he does this great job of being this guy who pushes way too far and essentially causes this whole event for BP and this oil spill, this massive oil rig explosion. BP was in a lot of fault for this, especially the people that pushed these people to do these things. But I mean, that's a whole nother story that I don't want to get into in this video. BP was just, they messed up bad. The grade I'm going to give Deepwater Horizon is a B+. This event was tragic, but I feel like Peter Berg captured it pretty well. I like to say Peter Berg is like the better improved 2.0 version of like Michael Bay. They have a lot of similar setups, a lot of similar visuals. There's a lot of American flags at certain points that you see in the background or foreground or wherever. So it's kind of like the better version of Michael Bay. But this one really improves his resume. He's really doing this gritty stuff now that's realistic. Really true events is what he's focusing on lately. Not that that's a bad thing. I think he's fine-tuning his craft right now, and he's doing a great job at it. As for the performances, Mark Wahlberg did pretty good. I'm pretty surprised. I mean, he has an up and down career, but this one you really pull for him, as well as all the other members that are on the Deepwater Horizon. I definitely think it's worth checking out, but I don't say you have to rush out to the theater to see it. A lot of these films that are based on true events, I kind of feel like you don't have to go out and see it in the theaters. I mean, you can easily Google the event and you'll find out all kinds of pictures, video, whatever nowadays. So I'm kind of recommend waiting until it comes out on Blu-ray, DVD, digital, whatever in the next couple of months. But I do highly recommend seeing it. Peter Berg, again, is a great director. A lot of the events are pretty gritty and realistic, and I highly recommend seeing it. So guys, that's my review for Deepwater Horizon. If you've seen it, let me know, as well as what is your favorite based on true events film down in the comment section down below. Also be sure to leave a thumbs up if you like this video, as well as hit that big subscribe button so you can see future videos like this review, as well as go onto my channel and see other reviews that I've done, including my Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children, Magnificent Seven, Storks, and any other news videos that I may be doing coming up soon. Hopefully I will also have my Luke Cage Season 1 review coming up maybe this weekend. We'll see. I'm kind of going through a hurricane at the moment, or pretty soon, so we'll see how well that goes or how soon I can get that up. But hopefully it will be sooner than later. Guys, thank you so much for watching. You really are the best, and I'll see you in the next one.